we often hear that Saul was a Jewish man persecuting Christians. And then Saul got converted, and he himself became a Christian, and his name was changed to Paul. So Saul, Jewish, bad. Paul, Christian, good. Is that accurate? Oh, no. That's terribly inaccurate. Number one, Saul was not persecuting Christians. There was no such thing as Christian at that time. The term had not yet been coined. That happens in Acts 11. In Acts 9 is when Paul has his life-changing experience on the road to Damascus. Saul, a zealous Jew, is persecuting fellow Jews who believe that Yeshua, Jesus, is the Messiah. There's no such thing as Christian at that point. There's not a separate religion, denomination, group. These were Jews who believed Jesus was the Messiah. They were called the people of the way, or looked at as some subset within Jewish belief. But there was no such thing as Christian. That's error number one. Error number two was that Paul did not convert. He did not convert to Christianity. And to exaggerate the picture, he didn't then wear a cross the rest of his life to get the point across. No, Saul, the zealous, God-fearing Jew, but acting in ignorance and unbelief, as he tells us in 1 Timothy 1, has an encounter with the risen Messiah and realizing that he realizes that he's fighting against God and that he's persecuting the Messiah, and now as a Jewish man, now becomes a zealous follower of Jesus the Messiah. As for his name, as a Jewish man born as a citizen in a Greek city, he would have had two names from birth. Some even say a third name. He certainly would have had his Hebrew name Shaul. He certainly would have had his Greek name Paulus. Some even think he would have had a third Latin name, but for sure, he was always Shaul. He was always Paulus. So what happens in the book of Acts? Shaul, Saul the Jew, has an encounter with Jesus, the risen Messiah, Yeshua, the Messiah of Israel. He now puts his faith in the Messiah of Israel, and he continues to be named Saul. He's still referred to as Saul in Acts the 9th chapter, and now he's preaching in the synagogues to whom? To fellow Jews that Jesus is the Messiah. And when you get to the beginning of Acts 13, he's still referred to as Saul, and then he is sent out on a mission to the Gentiles with Barnabas, at which point he is now referred to as Paul through the rest of the book. Why? Because the emphasis is on his mission to the Gentiles, and that's why when he writes to the Gentiles, he writes to all the Gentiles as Paul, because he's writing in Greek and they know him by his Greek name. That would mean then presumably when he's among fellow Jews in Jerusalem that they refer to him as they always did, as Shaul, as Saul. And what we do know for sure is that when he gets to a new city, the first place he goes is the synagogue. And he obviously dresses and looks like a Jew, otherwise he wouldn't have been welcome to speak. And he can even say later on in the book of Acts, I've not done anything against the customs of my people. He even identifies as a Pharisee when he's speaking before the Sanhedrin in Acts the 23rd chapter. In other words, he was still living life as a Jewish man, but now one who believed in Jesus the Messiah. So no, he was not persecuting Christians. There was no such thing. 2, he did not convert and become a Christian. Again, there was no such thing, and he didn't convert. Number 3, he was never Saul one day, and now no longer Saul the Jew, now Paul the Christian. No, he was always Saul, Paul. Among his Jewish people, he would have been known as Saul. When he went on a mission to the Gentiles, he became known as Paul. It changes things a whole lot, doesn't it, when you get the facts right?